Okay. So, as I believe I mentioned in the Destroya video, Clay and I had the intention of doing a double feature of Godzilla vs. Destroya and Godzilla 1998, which, going forward, I will just be referring to as Godzilla 98 or 98. We weren't able to finish. We got about halfway through 98 in total, but we actually did get delayed partway through. It was not necessarily the fault of the movie, but we have since finished it. Now, I know that the monster in this film is frequently known as Zilla, and I will generally be referring to it as Zilla. And I'm just like remembering something Clay said the other day, not connected to the film, which was, we have strayed too far from God. Like, we have strayed too far from God. There is none here, only Zilla. I'm gonna be completely forthwith with my opinion on this film. I think it's fine. I really do. I went in expecting to hate it, like to really vehemently hate it, because I've seen it before. I think I've seen it thrice. I believe I've seen it once as a kid that I don't super remember. I watched it once as a teenager about 20 years, somewhere between like 15 to 20 years ago, and I hated it. I thought it was really long. I thought it wasn't funny when it was trying to be funny. I didn't find the characters that endearing or charming. I thought the monster kind of sucked. Like, everything I could hate about the movie, I did. And I went in expecting that and I was left disappointed because I wasn't actually that disappointed. I was like, this is fine. Like, it's not good. I don't think it's a good film by almost any stretch of the imagination. I think it's a mediocre movie, and I think it's kind of a mediocre Godzilla movie. I've also seen other mediocre Godzilla movies. Like, I would watch this over All Monsters Attack pretty much any day of the week. I would probably watch this over Godzilla Raids again. Over King Kong versus Godzilla? That's an argument, because I don't like 90% of that movie, and then here's the part of the movie that rules. I probably liked this on the whole more than that, but the part of that movie that rules is better than anything in this. Like, Abira, Horror of the Deep, I don't really care for that movie. Like, Godzilla taunting him with his own claw is great, and I mean, I think the ending when it's like the pirates or research, whatever they were, kind of get duped and they get killed by Abira. Like, that's fun, but I didn't really like the movie. I didn't think the monster was that good. There are other Godzilla movies that I think are either worse or about as mediocre as 98. I don't remember when Rise of Skywalker came out, but I remember going into that movie knowing exactly what to expect. I knew what the plot was going to be. I knew what the twists were going to be. I knew I was not going to like it. But I got to watch it in theaters with my dad. And I believe that is the only time I have seen a Star Wars movie in theaters with my dad. So as bad as the movie is, I enjoyed it and managed to have a good time. And this was not like, I didn't watch this in theaters with my dad, unless I did. Like, in 1998, I just don't remember. But it felt kind of similar of, I know what I'm getting going in. So I don't feel that disappointment of like, man, this could have been great. I'm like, I know it won't be. But I do feel like I should talk about some of the specifics. So number one, let's talk about Zilla. It's... in a vacuum, I think it's fine. It is essentially the T-Rex from Jurassic Park being loose in New York and being more of this like stealthy, speedy, agile like monster rather than a big unga bunga threat. And for a Godzilla, I think that's an interesting interpretation. It's not my favorite by any means, but the idea of like, yeah, this is a Goji that's really intelligent, really fast, and stealthy is low-key kind of terrifying. I mean, don't get me wrong, the giant brute is also terrifying, and that's what we're used to, but he's also just a goober. But I kind of like that. The problem is the idea that, yeah, the monster is loose in New York and we don't know where he is. We lost him. The hell do you mean you lost him? Like, I get it. New York is big. This is a giant T-Rex for all intents and purposes. What do you mean you just lost him? He's just in the subway. This does not feel internally consistent. He does not have an atomic breath, so, I mean, that just sucks, if I'm being honest. The military does more damage to New York City than Godzilla does. Like, they destroy the Chrysler Building trying to shoot Godzilla, not the other way around. And here's why I have a huge problem with that. And it's not a, like, you know, my nationalist pride, like, my military shouldn't be doing that kind of shit. It's, look, man, the premise of this film, like the elevator pitch, Godzilla attacks New York. You had me at hello. Like, you had me at Godzilla, but Godzilla in New York sounds amazing. I want to see Godzilla, especially if you're doing a smaller, more like kind of lithe and agile Godzilla. You know what I want to see? I want to see Godzilla climbing the Statue of Liberty and holding on to it. And I'm thinking of that moment from like the TV show, because I think that's how the end of every opening credits is. Been a long time since I've seen it, but I remember watching it. It was awesome. I want to see Godzilla perched on the Statue of Liberty like a gargoyle, and there's a bunch of planes, like helicopters and whatnot, coming towards it. And as he's sitting there, you know, you get the glowing, blasts his atomic breath, misses all of the planes, and instead strikes and snipes the Statue of Liberty with an atomic breath so hot the Statue of Liberty melts. That is the kind of shit I want to see in a movie where the premise is Godzilla is in New York. I don't even see the Statue of Liberty in this film. I don't know if I saw the Empire State Building in this film. I think there was a moment where Godzilla climbed it. I might just be misremembering and thinking of the thing for the TV show. There's a lot of shots of the two towers because this came out in 98. And I'm really, really glad there is no moment where Godzilla attacks the two towers. Because, oh boy. And like, as the, like, a big part of the film is in Madison Square Garden. Like, they need the military to blow up Madison Square Garden. Which, in 2026, or like the Knicks just won a title. I don't know, there's something kind of funny about that. Like, I'm really, really glad that wasn't the World Trade Center. Also, let's talk about that whole section in Madison Square Garden. It's like 30 minutes and it sucks. I think it's the worst part of the movie. Okay, there's probably other parts of the movie that are worse, but it's boring. It should be fun. Like, here's all these raptor eggs that just hatch, and now you've got like the French Secret Service and our main characters trying to survive, trying to escape Madison Square Garden as they're trying to avoid dinosaurs. This is why I watch Jurassic Park. It's not why I watch Godzilla, but it's why I watch Jurassic Park. And the idea of a smaller scale threat in a Godzilla movie can be cool. We saw that in Destroya. But what it really amounts to is people just kind of running and screaming, and occasionally they die, but they're not anyone I really care about aside from like just basic human empathy. And the monsters, unlike Destroya, who's these like weird xenomorph crabs with an oxygen destroyer breath, these are just raptors. And I've seen that because I've seen Jurassic Park. This scene goes on. It's several scenes. Like, this chunk goes on for like 30 minutes. And if it was 10, it might still feel a little long, but sure. I think some of my favorite bits in the movie are... I mean, it is cool when the Chrysler Building gets blown up. Like, when it gets destroyed. I'd rather Godzilla do it because that's what I want to see, but it's still kind of fun. There's a scene where Godzilla, like, kind of snipe kills a helicopter. Not because he blasts it, but because he's hiding and then just chomps it. Like, okay, that's fun. I honestly really like the climax. Like, the ending chase. They're like, okay, this thing is really, like, fast. What are we going to do about it? Well, if we get it on the Brooklyn Bridge, we can trap it, and like it can get like caught in like the suspension wires of the bridge, and then we can hit it directly. It's actually really clever, and I think that whole section is fun. Like when Nick grabs like the electric coil, just shoves it into Godzilla's mouth. That's cool. Like this is the kind of shit I want to see in a Godzilla movie. I still want to see it blow up the Statue of Liberty. Like, I don't know, maybe that was considered too obvious, but sometimes something is obvious because it's exactly what you should have done. I don't know what I think of Nick. Because I don't know what I think of old Matty B. There's moments and, like, line deliveries where Broderick's weird, awkward charm is super endearing. Like, this feels like a guy who has been in Chernobyl studying earthworms for several years after his girlfriend ghosted him for 8 years after he proposed. Like, this is just a super awkward dude that does not deal with humans on a regular basis. But then there's also moments where I'm like, this just feels weird and odd and not in a charming way. Like, not in a creepy way, but just, that was weird. And it's just his expressions and his line deliveries, and it's what I expect from Matthew Broderick. I don't dislike him. Like, I don't know him as a person, but I don't dislike him as an actor, but I'm never like, oh man, Matthew Broderick's in this movie, I gotta watch it, you know? Audrey, or is it Aubrey? I think it's a D and not a B. It's the kind of name I always get confused, and I apologize for anyone watching named Audrey or Aubrey. I don't like her. That whole, like, yeah, so he proposed, and then she ghosted him, and it's been 8 years. Just generally shitty behavior. Then, when they talk and they see each other for the first time in all that time, her general vibe is, what do you mean you haven't gotten over it? Like, come on, dude. That was 8 years ago. People can change. I'm like, I don't know. That's a wound, and that is a scar that you inflicted. You don't really get to dictate how he's healed from it. And then, you know, after they talk, she takes confidential information. She steals it from him, publishes it, and essentially directly outs him as her source, which he was not intending to be by any means. Like, you just kept getting worse in this very short amount of time. Because before we really know that, I'm like, okay, she's an aspiring, not inspiring, but she is an aspiring reporter. She is being sexually harassed by her boss. So I'm like, okay, I definitely am sympathizing with you here. You know, she's someone that knows Nick and seems like pretty charmed by him. It's like, okay, like this is kind of cute. We'll see when they interact with each other. And then they interact with each other. I'm like, wait a second, you're awful. I still sympathize with you regarding your boss. Like, that does not change. But I don't like you anymore either. Now, she does willingly put herself in danger to try to patch things up with Nick, like to save his reputation, and I will give her credit for that. It's like she gets better, but boy, there is this chunk of the film where she is awful. And I mean, the other human characters, like, they're fine. Like, Philippe is pretty fun. Animal is pretty fun. The parodies of Roger Ebert and Gene Siskel, like, I think it's funny. I really do. It's like, you know what? Y'all hated my movies, so I'm going to put caricatures of you in this film to show you what I think of you. And it's pretty fun. I think Siskel and Ebert... Was Siskel still around at that point? I want to say yes. I could be wrong. I think essentially their take on it was, so you're mad that we don't like your movies, so you put parodies of us in a Godzilla movie and then didn't have us get killed. Come on, man. Like, if you're gonna go all the way. I do appreciate the sportsmanship there. I thought it was fun. There is this one scene in the movie that lives in my head rent-free, and you can probably guess what it is. It is when Matthew Broderick goes, "That's a lot of fish." Just lives in my head rent free. What sells it is, I think his name is O'Neill, like one of the other military guys. After he says it, just kind of looks at him, doesn't say anything, and then just looks back. It's almost this moment of, why did you say that? Did you? I don't know how to respond to this. And then he does it. And that, I think, is gold. I do think the movie is too long. Like, including the credits, because the credits were like 9 minutes, which we didn't watch, but you'll look at the thing, like, it had like 8 minutes and 50 seconds left. I think in total the movie is like 2 hours and 20 minutes. I think in the first hour or so, there's probably some things you could cut or trim down a bit. I think for me, it really comes down to that long chunk of Madison Square Garden that I didn't think was that good. If you cut that from 30 minutes to 10, I think this would have been a lot better. Like, honestly, all I really needed to see is there's a bunch of eggs. They start hatching. Okay, we need to run, and we've set up a bunch of explosives. Now we just gotta let everything explode, and there's like a raptor or two we're chasing them. I think that's really it. I don't have much else to say about 98. Like I've said, I don't hate it. I don't think it's good. I don't think it's a good film in a vacuum, and I don't think it's a good Godzilla movie. But I have seen worse films, and I have seen worse Godzilla films, so